Hello. In this quick hit, we will discuss and demonstrate how workflow automation with Quickbase and pipelines help generate, organize, monitor, act upon changes in a file and folder structure specifically designed to follow company policies and processes. My name is Stanisława, Stasio for short. I joined Quickbase about 2 years ago with the acquisition of CloudPipes, the iPaaS solution that is now known as Pipelines, and is the integration and workflow automation capability of Quickbase. I started with CloudPipes from its very beginning, about 6 years ago. Love the platform, and now as a product owner for Pipelines, I not only see but also help develop and realize the potential of it being part of Quickbase. Build up to its power and keep unlocking new possibilities, inspire you to experiment and realize your process improvement ideas. What you'll learn, hopefully, in this quick hit is the philosophy, the concepts, the tool set that we provide to work with file management channels in pipelines. Our goal is to keep consistency and integrity in concepts and user experience while exposing functionalities of channels within similar domains like file management in this case. However, different services that work with files have their specifics, resulting in the way pipelines operates with files in different contexts. For more information on the specific field support and the way you work with them, you may check the help documentation for each channel. For example, Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, DocuSign, Quickbase. I will also try to help you understand and properly utilize the different types of file handles, the different types of URLs you need to use depending on your process needs. They are for preview, transfer, and download of files. And of course, if I succeed to even slightly intrigue you, open up the space for you to innovate and optimize processes, it'll be a huge win. Our agenda will go through automated file management process in general. As an example, we'll go over an HR hiring process and how pipelines help storing files and creating folders in there. And again, we have our key takeaways. Let's briefly talk about designing and implementing a file and document management strategy, providing a consistent in logic, timely, and adequate role and context-specific access to those files. A very common approach while designing and rolling out a document and file management strategy is to keep and manage files and data separately in storage. Being successful at implementing this strategy, building a culture around it, maintaining consistency, and yet being flexible to adapt to ever-changing environment would benefit, if not require, a certain level of automation. In this diagram, I'm showing generic company processes, a flow that has an output of data and or files with some simple workflows, some pipelines. We automate these to direct each piece of information to its proper repository. Of course, we still have our random human users who always have their own manual inputs, create their own files and folders. At this point, they need to be educated and stick to policy. We could still implement some checks and guards to make sure that it's all properly organized with the right level of access. I'll be giving an example with Box serving as a file storage and management space, and a Quickbase app holding and orchestrating a company process. However, the same scenario could be designed with any other file management service like Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, SharePoint. We also have these as pipelines channels. And again, we have tried to keep consistency and create similar user experience with all the file channels and generally with channels operating in similar domains. However, third-party services specifics is a factor that we cannot completely control or overcome. So please get yourself acquainted with the system's terminology and features, as they are probably reflected in the usage of the steps and fields in pipelines. Let's go over a specific example, a very standard company process executed with Quickbase, pipelines, and Box. This is our HR hiring process. We have Quickbase as our system of record, where through pipelines we orchestrate events and actually hold the app itself in Quickbase. In DocuSign is where signing and approval of documents is happening. Box is the file repository, and we send notifications via MS Teams and SMS Twilio channel. We have candidates being interviewed, sending all the way notifications to our HR team to inform them. On a candidate being approved, changing their status to approved, we trigger a couple of processes. First one, we create a folder in Box where we are going to store all the related files that we have for the candidate, send an SMS to them to inform that they're moving forward, start a process of job offer customization, pulling out fields from Quickbase from the record of the candidate and filling out a template in DocuSign till it's being signed, first approved and then signed by the candidate. By the way, this workflow you could see in more details in another quick hit about document management automation. Having the signed job offer, we are again storing the file in Quickbase in the folder in Box in the dedicated folder that we've created, and in Quickbase in the record itself, we are holding a special link. We put a URL there that will take us to the signed document in DocuSign context. Again, sending notifications over Teams and SMS as needed. We also trigger the candidate background check executed by an external company. They only have, we've provided them access to our Quickbase app, and this is where they upload their document when ready. Keeping to our policy, we want to sync it again to the folder of the candidate and then proceed with the employment. At this point, we'll focus on just 3 phases from the entire hire process for the file management automation solution. We're looking just at the color boxes. So first we will see how we create the folder in Box, then how we upload a document from Quickbase to this new folder that we've just created. The third one, a little bit more complex, triggering on an event in DocuSign. When we have a signed job offer, we will upload the document itself in Box and create a link in the record in Quickbase, a preview link. We will see what this exactly means and how it's done. So let's go to the solution. What do we need in advance? We need a Quickbase app with pipelines access. An example app similar to the one that I'm using in the demo, you could find and download from Exchange. We need a channel working with files and attachments connected with the proper access rights, be it DocuSign, Quickbase, Google Drive. And the core, what's most important to know here is the different types of file handling fields and the concepts in pipelines. So we have the browser URL. This field, when we use this URL, we are able to later preview the file in the browser pointing to the original URL of the file attachment. This would require authentication to the third-party system. So in this case, we don't copy, we just point to the file itself in its original location. The file transfer handle is the one that we should use when we want to make a copy, to transfer the file from one location, make a copy in the other. For example, from Quickbase to Dropbox, vice versa. This URL provides a secure way to transfer the files, and this URL is pipeline's context specific only. It doesn't have any meaning outside of it. The third one is the download file URL, which allows for the download of a file locally. Again, depending on the specifics of the service, you may need to share the file in advance, give the respective permissions for download. More information in the help documentation of each channel, working with files and attachments. Okay, let's see how this looks like in pipelines. First, this is our app in Quickbase. This is where our candidates live, and as they progress in their application, we move them through the lanes, changing their status. We use the Kanban view just to have it more easy and visual. Here is our box folder where we store in our employment track. We have special candidates folder where for each candidate that passed the interview, we create a dedicated folder. We'll see how it goes. And we have DocuSign, just for the case when we need to sign a document later on, you see. Here are the pipelines that help us automate the process. The first one, as we talked about, was how we create a folder when we have our candidates being approved, moving to the approved lane, meaning they change the status to approved. We're checking if the status is approved. Here at this step, we select some fields that we are going to use in subsequent steps. Check if the candidate is approved. Here is where the custom creation of a job offer happens. Again, more details about it in the other quick hit about document management automation. Let's just quickly look through it. We have some custom fields in a template we are filling out from our trigger in Quickbase with the exposed fields there. How do we create a folder? There are two ways to create a folder in Box. First one is the step create folder in. This implies that you know the parent folder in advance, you know the path to it. What I'm using right here is first looking up a folder, the parent folder, in which I'm going to create a candidate. And in this folder, from step C, I create a new one with the name of the candidate that we have in step A. Very important note here, for both the folder in Box and the envelope in DocuSign, we link them to the original record in Quickbase. We link the candidate to the documents that he's being sent for approval and to the newly created folder in Box. Later on, we will need this connection between the two so that we fetch them from one another and act upon changes. We could upload files or trigger on the event that the candidate has signed the offer. This is the first use case. Let's go see how it works. Here we track the progress. We are triggering on a record updated. So we need someone to get approved. Let's say Marta just passed her interview, change her status to approved, and we have our pipeline running. Here we see we've created the folder step where we link the resources to both DocuSign and Box. We link the candidate's record. And here is the lookup step for finding the parent folder. Here we send a custom job offer to Marta. All the details. Let's go see how it practically looks like. We have now Marta created, 0 files in her dossier. It's just empty at this point. And in her email, she received a job offer. She could review. Okay. Let's leave it here and see our second use case, where we want to have candidates record updated with their background check completed. Now that they're moving forward, we have our external company help us have the background check done. And as soon as they're done, they're updating the record in Quickbase. Let's go see, for example, Marta. We have the field for background status and background check document. So we trigger on the record updated, where we change the background check status and document. Again, we take some fields that we are going to reuse in subsequent steps. We make a check if the background check is completed and if there's actually a background check document uploaded in the record. Here is where we use the fact that we linked the record to the folder that we created for them. We fetch the linked folder and upload a file in it. How do we upload the file? We take, from step A, we take the name of the file that we are going to upload, and important part here, we use the file transfer handle to make a copy of the file that we have in Quickbase to our Box folder. So we use the file handle URL. Let's see how this works. We go to Marta. We mark her background check as completed. We upload the background check document, save and close. This should trigger our pipeline right away. We see we've already created the file in there. Here's the place where we fetch the linked folder to our candidate. Here are the conditions checks, our trigger. Let's see what happened in Box. When we go to Marta record, we have the background check here. So we transferred it from her record in Quickbase to her Box folder, and using the file transfer handle, we have the document copied here. We are looking at it in the Box context. The third use case, a bit complicated, is about Martha having her job offer completed. So we are waiting for envelope completed event in DocuSign. This is our trigger. This step in DocuSign returns a status of the envelope. That's why we need to look up the envelope itself so that we are working with the object itself. This is a place where we use the fact that we linked the original candidate record to the envelope that we send them. So we fetch the linked record and we list the envelope's documents. It could be just a single document that we've sent over. They could be multiple. DocuSign is always adding one additional certificate of the signatures. That's why we always get a list of envelope documents in DocuSign. That's why we need to find the one that we are interested in, the one that starts with job, and iterate over them, having here these two steps. First one, we update the record of Martha with the browser URL from DocuSign, meaning we create a link in her record pointing to the original document in DocuSign context. We could be, if we're not signed already, like we are right now, but we should be asked to authenticate before able to open this file. Again, making use that we link the record to the Box folder, we fetch the folder. Once again, using the file transfer handle, we make a copy of this file in the folder, creating a PDF with the name of the signed document, just to make sure we open it correctly in Box. Okay, let's see how this one goes. We need an envelope completed event in DocuSign. We opened the job offer that we received, that Martha received for review. She's okay, so she signs it. And this is what should trigger our pipeline. Here, it doesn't happen that quickly, like with Quickbase, because it's a Polar-based pipeline, Polar-based channel. It could take from 5 to 10 minutes. Here we go, we started. So we know someone signed their job offer. We find the envelope itself with the lookup step. Found the record in Quickbase and iterate over all the attachments that we've been sent, updating the record with the link to DocuSign, fetching the linked folder and creating a file in there, the browser URL. Again, let's check how this looks. Here is Martha. We have job offer button created here. Clicking on it, we are requested to sign in. Yeah, need to open it somewhere. Let me just click it again. Okay, now we see the job offer in the context of DocuSign. This file lives in DocuSign. And in her Box folder, we have a copy of it. We have the PDF in Box context. Automating file management processes with pipelines is easy. Just check out the documentation for each specific channel you're about to use. We are constantly working on updating both channels and documentation, make it even more complete and useful. Make the most of the different file handles. Just make sure you know what the different URLs mean and how they should be used for preview, for transfer, and for download, which we didn't really get into here. You need to use the content URL, make sure that the file is shared and downloadable in advance. In another quick hit, there is more information about DocuSign and document management in general. There's a third one dealing with notifications in MS Teams and Twilio. And as always, it's easy to edit and adjust, to experiment, so just have fun.